Are we on?
We are on.
I see no picture.
That's all right, Howard. It doesn't matter.
Well, I'll tell you what. Just looking at what we just saw there,
yeah,
looked like the Hurricane was trying to be a little bit of a roadblock for The Rock on the road to WrestleMania 1 week from this Sunday. Welcome to Bite This. I'm Howard Finkel the Fink, along with Dr. Tom Pritchard. Dr. Tom,
good to have you back. Yeah.
I'm here for a reason, and Dr. Tom, I think you might want to expound a little bit on that.
I have no idea why you're here, Howard. Usually Kevin Kelly's sitting in that seat.
Exactly.
I think Kevin Kelly is exploring new horizons and new adventures right now, and I just want to take this time to thank Kevin Kelly for all the hard work and everything he's helped me through his tenure here in World Wrestling Entertainment, as well as Bite This, metal voiceovers, and a lot of other things that he helped me along the way here in WWE. And I wish Kevin the best of luck in all his future endeavors.
As do I. Kevin is a very, very well-versed individual, and I can only hope that he's going to succeed well in the future. So, go ahead, Tom.
One thing you can see hasn't changed is the technical glitches in Bite This. We want to keep that consistent. We want to keep this a show that keeps on going.
Well, I haven't been here in a while, so I figured everything would be more state-of-the-artish and modern, and I can see we're far from it.
Well, certainly. But WrestleMania, as you said, I think is, what, 9 days away?
9 days away and counting.
Man.
WrestleMania 19. Safeco Field in Seattle 1 week from this Sunday. We're going to expound on that a little bit this week here on Bite This. Our guest this week, the aforementioned Hurricane, will be joining us, and I look forward to talking to the Hurricane because here's an individual who has that core following of fans, and he always seems, no pun intended, to rise to the occasion.
Well, Hurricane is one of those guys that has captured the imagination of the fans, and at the same time, he's really made his mark. And I think doing this, what he's doing with The Rock and what happened over the last couple of weeks, I'm going to be interested to find out how he feels about this. And this is a great boost to his career, in my opinion.
No question. Also, we're going to be joined by Christian, a multi-time tag team title co-holder. Certainly has been having a little bit of foray with Chris Jericho. We have some interesting questions to pose to Christian today as well.
I'd like to find out how Christian's doing now that Chris Jericho is taking on Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. I wonder where Christian's going to be in this whole chain of events.
It remains to be seen. But, you know, it seems as of late where Jericho is, Christian's not that far behind.
Not a bad thing.
And, of course, we want to hear from you, the great fans out there. You can certainly call us at 1-888-LIVE-WWE. We're going to have some of you people talk to Christian, perhaps the Hurricane, and perhaps to us. And what are you holding up there, Dr.
Well, I'm
Tom?
holding this up because I thought that maybe later on we were going to do a Outthink the Fink and give somebody one of the brand new Hardy Boys books. And I know you have a great question that you could probably throw at everyone out
we
there.
kind of sculled about this today to see what kind of a question we could bring up, and obviously it's going to be WrestleMania related. And I think we might just put the thinking cap on a little bit strong and a little bit tighter today, because I really think that whoever gets this question when the time comes is definitely going to earn that book of the Hardy Boys, don't you think?
I think so too, Howard. You never let us down yet.
Well, we try not to. But there's so much going on in WWE right now with SmackDown and Raw and all the roads leading to WrestleMania 1 week from this Sunday. I want to tell you something. This is going to be my 19th WrestleMania. Of course, I've been at every one. Nobody has that distinction from a talent standpoint. But if you look at the card from top to bottom that's been announced thus far, it is a very interesting card, and it's a card that I think every match has very, very important meaning and significance.
Well, I think when you talk about meaning and significance, we can talk about a guy like Droz, who is on the line right now. Droz, 9 days away, we're looking at a huge, huge WrestleMania.
Yeah, as Howard was saying, from top to bottom, this card is, I mean, it is stacked, and to be honest, I think this is the most... probably the most stacked card I've seen in quite a few years for WrestleMania, and I'm sure it's not going to disappoint.
My big the match that I want to see, and I think a lot of people want to see, is Hulk Hogan taking on Vince McMahon. What do you think about this, Droz? You think that it's going to be Hulk Hogan's last match here in WWE?
I honestly don't see that happening. I know with the stipulations, and then, you know, with McMahon's attack last night, I don't see Hogan lose. I don't see this being Hogan's last match. I do see this being a 20-year in the making. Come get some of this. You stuck it to me. I stuck it to you. We went back and forth, and now we have a chance to get in the ring and put on a great show for people, but not just a great show. I think this is going to go far beyond a show, in my eyes anyway. I think in a lot of people's eyes.
Droz, last night's contract signing on SmackDown I thought that it was going to be well done. I thought it was going to be a real good thing, but obviously Mr. McMahon had some other ideas in mind when he entered the ring from behind.
Well, you know, it was funny because I saw the clock and I'm like, with Vince's entrance and things like that, and right as I was thinking to myself, something's not, all of a sudden Hogan got nailed in the back, and I said, this is going to go downhill fast for Hogan.
And then
Vince was wailing. He definitely laid it in there last night.
He really did. And then the insult of all insults, to have him, being Mr. McMahon, have Hulk Hogan, with Mr. McMahon's help, sign his name or a semblance of it in blood.
In his own blood.
Gosh.
Yeah, it just adds insult to injury, and that's what this feud has been all about, I think, over all these years. And the culmination of WrestleMania is the place it had to happen.
Well, I think the symbolism was definitely there, and I think another match that has symbolism as well would have to be the World Championship with Triple H defending against Booker T. Booker T is one of those guys that a lot of fans and a lot of superstars in World Wrestling Entertainment feel he has come as far as he needs to come. Now he needs to take that step over the line and prove it at WrestleMania and become the world champion.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely get to a point in your career where, you know, you've done pretty much everything you can at a certain level, and it's time to step up to the next level. And this is definitely the time for Booker T. You know, over you know, this past, you know, many weeks and even more like months. You know, we've seen him grow. We've seen, you know, a couple weeks ago he came out with, you know, his admission about, you know, being in prison, and you know, he's done so much in the ring. But you know, he with a 5-time, you know, WCW champ. It's time for him now to take that next step up there at the biggest show, WrestleMania, and win that belt.
Can he do it, Droz? Can he do it?
Can he do it one-on-one? Yes. It's going to be interesting to see, as always. It never seems to fail that Hunter always has a trick or two up his sleeve, you know, whoever it may be, but he always has a trick or two up his sleeve. If it was just Hunter against Booker T, I believe he could pull it out. I still hope he does pull it out.
One thing I can tell you, Dr. Tom and Droz, I am, you know, pretty much part of the Raw team, and in seeing Booker T over these last 2 weeks going into the home stretch, and this is behind the scenes, he's all business. Now, he likes to joke around. He's very jovial, very friendly, you know, but now that he's got his sights set on the World Heavyweight Championship, I can tell you, even backstage, the man, not trying to be rude, but he is focused beyond belief. When he knows he has to have a match on the card or wherever it may be, he is so focused right now. He really wants to give his optimum effort. And quite frankly, I believe that Booker T might just do it at WrestleMania.
I hope he, like I said, in all honesty, I hope he does. I think it'll be great for him. I think it'll be great for the fans. And, you know, it would be kind of almost like a breath of fresh air in wrestling to see him be able to pull that out.
Well, Droz, we talked a lot last week about Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar, but once again, I think a lot of people are surprised to see that Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle once again will meet at WrestleMania for the first time. And this is a match of, I hate to sound cliche-ish, but I'm going to, epic proportions.
Oh, yeah.
Because people have been talking about this match ever since Brock arrived in WWE. Now, on the biggest stage of our industry, in the biggest show of our industry, who's going to come out on top? Do you see Kurt Angle holding on by any means necessary, or Brock Lesnar coming out victorious?
I see Kurt Angle trying by any means necessary, but I see Brock coming out on top. I think he just has too much going for him right now. I think he needs this. He wants this. And not that Kurt doesn't, but I think it's his time to shine again. It's his time to take it on, and he's not going to be just taking on Kurt Angle. And that, I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Angle, just like Triple H, is going to have something up his sleeve, and he's going to bring it out. But I have a feeling Lesnar's going to be ready for anything he can throw at him.
Droz, let me ask you a question, and every time I have the opportunity to talk to you, I always seem to fall back to, formerly known as Albert, now known as A-Train. And I haven't spoken to you in a while. The elevation of A-Train now on the SmackDown team, I think has been amazing. I mean, he is absolutely giving it all, leaving it all in the ring. What are your thoughts on A-Train and Big Show at WrestleMania taking on Undertaker and Nathan Jones? And from a personal standpoint, how proud How proud are you of A-Train's ascension in the ranks?
I couldn't be more happy for him. I mean, here's a guy who, like I said, when I started out, he was trying to come up and things like that. I still remember meeting him, really in person for the first time when he came into the, when he came into the warehouse and everything, and just to see where he's, risen up to in the ranks. And I mean, he's going to be on, WrestleMania stage with, I mean, that there is going to be 4 Titans in the ring. I mean, those guys, talk about, and he's the shortest of the bunch, and he's 6'6", 6'7". So I mean, I couldn't be happier for him. He's doing his heel thing, and he just does a great job at it. And he's so athletic, when he steps into that ring, and so powerful that that's a match that I'm looking forward to seeing, is those 4 guys stepping in there, stepping up, and just seeing a lot of meat being thrown around.
Well, very good, Draws. I know we're all gearing up for WrestleMania, and we'll be back with you, I'm sure, next week.
Maybe some predictions.
Maybe some predictions going into this. Best of luck to you. We're all heading out this weekend and getting ready and gearing up to Seattle. And Draws, I'll be talking to you soon, man.
All
good
right,
luck.
guys, you take care.
Hey, Draws, before we let you go real quickly, what do you have on the dais for the Draws 2 Cents column this week?
Well, I'm kind of going back over the card a little bit this week. There were some amazing things that I saw out there this week, some crazy things, especially one was RVD's flying over the ring like I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that was dangerous.
Man, more power to him, but just kind of not so much recap, just talking about different things that were going on, and kind of going from there.
Yeah, hey, Draws, packing on the pounds, huh?
Oh, I wouldn't say that, Doc. That's
All
no
right.
way.
All right.
Very good,
Best
man.
Draws. Nice to hear from you, and we'll look forward to hearing from you next week, okay?
Okay, guys, take care.
Take
See ya.
care.
All right, bye-bye.
All right.
Yeah,
There you go.
I had a nice talk with Julie, Draws' wife, this past week at
in Louisville.
in Louisville, and Draws happened to say that we were all packing on the pounds when he would watch Bite This. So yeah.
Well, speak for yourself,
No, sure, it
That's
always
what
do.
I'm saying.
Yes, Matt.
We have some phone calls here, and we welcome your phone calls at 1-888-LIVE-WWE. Our first caller of the day is from Long Island. It's Rebecca. Rebecca, welcome to Bite This. You got the Think and the Doctor.
Hi, Rebecca.
My question is actually about the new Hardy Boy book. Have y'all read it yet?
I haven't read it. It just came out. Here it is right here. We get a close-up of it.
Have you read it?
It's I got it just yesterday. I was at the signing, and I haven't been able to put it down. It's so good.
Really?
Well, that's great. And tell us how the signing went yesterday. This is one of the first signings that Matt and Jeff had.
It was really good. They're nice guys. They're really nice.
Hey, Rebecca.
Yeah.
Did you get to the part about the Funkin' Dojo yet?
Yes, I actually read that before.
Okay.
Dr. Tom was the trainer.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying because I'm going back to the Funking Conservatory tonight, and as Howard and I were speaking of earlier, I'm going to put that little weasel Adam Windsor in line. Yeah, I'm going to put him in line for you, pal.
All right. Well,
He
whatever
needs
you
something.
say.
Yeah.
Rebecca, let me ask you one question. Are you ready for WrestleMania?
Absolutely.
What match of the matches you know of so far is the most captivating to you?
Well, being an MFer, it has to be the Matt Hardy match.
All right, versus Rey Mysterio. I'm
Yeah.
kind of looking forward to seeing that one. Rey made a great showing last night on SmackDown against Jamie Noble. I really have to say personally that Matt being, well, I would call him a young veteran, even he's been in this organization for a long time. He's cagey and he's got a little bit of savvy, but Ray's got that speed and lightning-like reflexes. Obviously, you're going to pick Matt, huh?
Absolutely.
I beg to differ with you, okay?
Rebecca, what makes you an MFer?
Well, I have followed Matt forever, since I probably started watching wrestling.
Oh, that's about
And
forever.
I don't know. I just like most people like Jeff. I've stuck with Matt for the whole time, and he even called me his biggest MFer last night.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I was a happy kid.
You're going to have to be a happy camper for that. Well, Rebecca, we thank you for calling, and enjoy the rest of the book, and enjoy WrestleMania next week.
Thanks. You too.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
I love
right.
it when they. What, a break? What? We have to take a break?
We have to take a
Howard,
break.
you just got here.
I just got here.
Well, obviously, Christian was taking on. What are we going to see here, Matt? Christian and Jeff Hardy. And Jeff Hardy. Ooh, that's a hell of a match anyway, because you remember all the classic ladder matches Christian and Edge had when it came to the Hardy Boys. And obviously Christian now as a single, but at times, a lot of times, like you said, wherever you saw Jericho, you saw Christian.
Absolutely. So I think we'll cue this right now, and let's see what takes place. And very shortly, Christian will be joining us here, and we look forward to your calls to the footage. The man never ceases to amaze me. He's cagey, he's very confident in his abilities, and he's come very far in WWE, Tom.
Christian is cagey. In fact, I like that name, Christian
Christian
Cage.
Cage.
Yay!
Wow.
You ever
Take
want a
this
last
back.
name, pal? You can use it.
I know. You're going to have your opportunity, folks, to ask Christian a question if you're ever so lucky at 1-888-LIVE-WWE. And joining us right now from his palatial estate somewhere is my buddy Christian. Christian, it's Howard and Dr. Tom. How are you?
Hey guys, what's up?
Very good. Christian, everything is going very well here today, and we're glad you joined us. We appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about what's been going on with Christian lately. Of course, I can put accolade upon accolade to you. Multi-time co-holder of the Tag Team Championship. Other wonderful titles you've attained. What is going on in the mind of Christian these days? It seems that wherever Chris Jericho is, Christian's not that far behind.
That's right. Well, me and the C-Man are pretty tight, so we got to watch out for each other. So that's what we try to do.
Well, we talked about just Howard touched on it briefly. Said you've been multi-time tag team champion. Of course, you and Edge were part of the greatest ladder matches in the history
Absolutely.
of WWE, along with the Hardy Boys, the Dudleys, as well. In fact, in the new book, let me just mention this because the Hardy Boys book we're giving away later today as a Outthink the Fink. He talks about, actually Matt and Jeff talk about your experience at the Funkin' Dojo, and that you guys bonded at that time as well. Do you find yourself missing those days of tag team action with Edge against the Hardy Boys?
Sure. Those were great times, and especially since, when we first came in, we kind of helped to sort of establish each other by having memorable matches, and then, of course, the first ladder match, then to go on to the TLC matches and things like that. So, I do, but there's also a time in your career when it comes you have to move on and do other things. But I look back a lot of fond memories about that stuff, and wouldn't change a thing about it.
Well, speaking of Edge, of course, Christian, as we all know, Edge recently had neck surgery, which is going to keep him on the shelf for about 1 year.
Yeah.
Certainly, I know you have maintained a pretty cordial relationship with Edge outside of the ring. Have you talked to Edge recently? How's his attitude? What's his outlook?
Oh yeah, he's feeling pretty good. I've talked to him pretty much every day since he's had his surgery, and I tried to go out with him a few times before he had the surgery to kind of take his mind off it and stuff like that. But he's in good spirits. He realizes that there's no sense on getting down and upset about it because regardless he's going to have the surgery. So he just tried to be positive about it and try to make as quick a return as he can.
Well, let me ask,
his spirits have been really good.
let me ask you this then: How is your health? Edge, I think, talked about a lot of the reasons he had to have the surgeries because certainly some of the matches, the ladder matches that you guys have had over the years, affected that. Do you feel any of the effects from previous ladder matches that you've been involved in?
Sure. I think regardless of whether you've done ladder matches or not, we're in a very physical sport. So and we don't have off season like other sports. So our bodies take a pounding, 4 or 5 days a week. So of course, you have this stiff neck, and this, right now my left shoulder's kind of bothering me a little bit of stiffness there, and I had a problem with the pinched nerve in my neck where whenever I get hit in a certain spot in my neck, like if I took a clothesline or something, I was having problems where my arm would go numb and things like that. So just little nagging things that with a little bit of rehab and stuff get better. Luckily that kind of went away after I kind of rehabbed it a little bit and stuff like that. So just little nagging things, but knock on wood, nothing too major.
Knock on wood. I'll tell you one thing, Christian. It's not as easy as it looks to those people that don't believe.
Yeah.
It's really a very, very trying and enduring business to be in. The theme of this week's program is kind of like WrestleMania, and it's a week away. And let's take you back. You've been in a few WrestleManias, and Tom alluded to some TLCs. Give me some of your favorite WrestleMania moments, both as a performer in ring and as a fan out of ring.
Well, I think as a performer, pretty much have to go to WrestleMania in Anaheim, and that was the first time Edge and I won the tag team titles, and against the Hardy Boys and against the Dudley Boys. So that was pretty memorable. We never had a match on WrestleMania before. That was our first first one, so to win a title and have it be our first one on the show was pretty amazing. So that one kind of stands out in my mind. Houston, also a TLC match we had in Houston, was pretty unbelievable. Such a big crowd, almost like 70,000 people there, so that was pretty crazy also. And as far as, other moments, have to, obviously, I'm sure a lot of people say this, the Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage match for the Intercontinental title was another one that was great. And man, there's so many, you know what I mean? It's been, the show is literally the show of the year to me, you know what I mean? So
Did you go to WrestleMania in Toronto when it was there, WrestleMania 6, Christian, as a fan?
You know what? I couldn't get tickets, and but that was the time I watched it. A friend of mine had pay-per-view, so I ended up watching it, but I couldn't. I didn't get tickets. I couldn't get tickets for it.
Did that at all give you your influence or your thinking? When was the time in your life that you said, "This is for me"?
Actually, it was the first time basically I saw it on television. What happened was I was really into hockey and playing hockey, and I still am into hockey. But at the time, young kid, I was skating, and I had fallen headfirst into the boards and broke my shoulder. And I had a break so high on my shoulder that I couldn't have a cast on my arm. So I had to stay in the house. I had to do school. I couldn't even go to school or anything like that. I had to stay home and have all my schoolwork and everything sent home to me. So I couldn't risk getting knocked or something like that, or it would go out of place. So I had this huge sling on my arm, and basically my brothers were out playing and stuff like that. I was kind of stuck in the house, so I was flipping through the channel one weekend, and I stumbled upon wrestling. I didn't know what it was, but I was hooked right away. And I watched it, and then I flipped right after that. I flipped to a Buffalo, New York station, and it was on again the next hour. So, man, I was like every Saturday for like 2-3 hours, all I watched was wrestling, and I just got hooked on it. And from that moment on, I was like, I want to be a wrestler.
Well, Christian, let me ask you this. You guys, talk about you guys, you, Edge, Hardy's, let's say the new generation of WWE superstars have really raised the bar, so to speak.
Absolutely.
And with the high flying, with the inventive moves and things that you've done through these years, now we talked this, we're coming up on having over 7 superstars and 1 woman with neck injuries the last couple of years. Do you see any way that you guys being the superstars of today, could change the style and still keep it fan friendly and make it exciting?
I think so. I think with telling and of course it's something that you learn. You're always learning. You know what I mean? No matter how long you've been in the business, no matter how many matches, how many big matches you've been in, whatever, you're always learning and trying to get better. So I think that as long as people are always learning to maybe tell more of a kind of a story in the ring, you know what I mean? And as far as slowing down the pace and things like that, but still putting the big moves in and stuff when they really mean more, and things like that, rather than just having them thrown in there for no reason and things like that.
So is that the general consensus?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
Good.
Good. You up for some phone calls, Christian?
Sure.
All right. Well, we're going to ask you to call and have the opportunity perhaps to talk to Christian at 1-888-LIVE-WWE. Nigel from Georgia. Welcome to Bite This. You're on with The Fink, The Doctor, and Christian.
Hey, guys. Hey, Christian. It's my honor to be able to talk to you today. I got the chance to see you in Savannah, and I'm really glad that I got in to talk to you today.
Oh, cool. Thanks, man.
Well, my question for you is, ever since you've been with Jericho and the whole heel gimmick, you've been doing the whole tag team thing, but I'm wondering, is there any kind of future for maybe a singles heel push,
Well, I definitely hope so. I think I really enjoy doing the stuff that I do with Chris, because I think we play off each other really well, and we have a good chemistry, and it's just a natural chemistry. And it also goes back kind of the same kind of thing I had with Edge, where it's kind of like we know what the other one's doing at a certain time. But definitely, I would like to Chris is is very good and has been to the top, so I can use my relationship with him also to learn what it takes to be at that level, and hopefully, that is definitely my goal is to go as far as I can as a singles wrestler.
Well, that's the only way success can be attained, with hard work and good work ethic for sure. I'd like to ask you this while we wait for our next caller. We're just about at 1 year since Raw and SmackDown became separate entities. It's almost approaching 1 year right now. Give me your thoughts 1 year removed. What have you thought about it? Is there still the opportunity to grow for you personally? You were with the SmackDown group. You're now with the Raw group. Give me your overall thoughts of how this has been in your eyes thus far.
I think, like anything, it takes time, you know what I mean, especially in the fans' eyes to, find out where everybody is are they on Monday or on that Thursday, you know what I mean, and because we have so many talented guys, and but I definitely think it's working, and it was going to take a little while for people to get used to it and to accept the brands as two separate entities, but I think they're starting to do that, so I think it's helped out a lot of guys, too, and I think it's going to continue to, as we move along, to help a lot of guys raise their game and become bigger stars.
Well, I think, too, that it's one of those things that you don't know until you try. And, of course, the only way to do it in WWE is to go for it. And that's one thing that you've always done, and you've done since you've been here, and I think you've done that even before you came to WWE. Do you see a time when you possibly want to just maybe say, I'm going to wrestle for another 2 years and that's it? Or do you just want to go until you can't go anymore and someone has to tell you to take it easy and someone has to tell you it's time for you to step back?
I think that when you do this, it's either in your blood or it's not, and to me, every time I step in the ring, it's just that's where I want to be, you know what I mean? So no matter how grueling the travel schedule or how tired you are, when you hear your music and you step in the ring, it all goes away, and everything that you as far as travel schedules and things like that, everything you have to go through, it makes it worthwhile. You know what I mean? So I can't see myself, and I would never ever put a time limit saying, I'm going to give it 2 more years and I'm going to quit, because I can't say that. You know what I mean? I love what I do. Every time I step in the ring, I love it, and this is all I've ever wanted to do. So for me to come to be able to do this for a living. I'm just going to do it until I physically can't do it anymore. And then when I'm done doing that, I want to, help out after that. And whether it's, I want to give back. So, that's
very good.
My plans.
Back to the phones at 1-888-LIVE-WWE from Towson, Maryland. We have Kevin joining us. Kevin, welcome to Bite This. Say hello to Christian. What's your question?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey, man, what's up?
Christian, a couple months back, you were involved in one of the most controversial angles that we've ever seen in the Un-Americans. And where we are right now on this war with Iraq, they say hindsight is 20/20. Do you look back and kind of regret or wish that maybe you didn't do some things in what you did with that gimmick?
No, because I really don't think that we really crossed any lines or anything like that. You know what I mean? We didn't burn a flag or anything of that nature. You know what I mean? So I don't think we really crossed any barriers. People were reacting to it, and that's basically what we were trying to get, was a reaction.
All right. Well, Christian, we've enjoyed the time you spent with us here this week on Bite This, and we look forward to seeing you continue to do your thing, hopefully have that star rise a little more for yourself here in the WWE. And just a little reminder, don't take any detours or U-turns, if you know what I mean.
What was that supposed to mean, pal?
We're going to bar that one, okay?
All right, very good.
Christian, thanks.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Best of luck. We'll see you in Seattle.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Hey, why don't we do this while we have... I know Taz is standing by. We're going to try to we're getting Taz shortly.
Oh.
Why don't we do this? You see the Hardy Boys book?
Yes.
And you said Outthink the Think?
Yes.
All right, we're going to do this right now. The brand spanking new Hardy Boys book. Let's put it up for grabs. Kind of like a WrestleMania present for one of you people who calls 1-888-LIVE-WWE. Is that how we're going to do it?
Email us.
Oh, we're going to email? Okay. I'm rusty. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
nice to meet you. I'm rusty.
I'm Fred.
Email us at bitethis@WWE.com. And here we go. We're going to do a WrestleMania question, okay? It's involving my buddy, Dr. Tom Pritchard.
Yes.
All right. Dr. Tom Pritchard was at 2 WrestleManias almost. You'll dispute that.
I will dispute that.
2 WrestleManias almost, which means he was on the outside looking in, but he actually was a part of it. Kind of a convoluted mumbo-jumbo kabuki type question.
Very kabuki.
Well, here's the thing I want to know. I want to know Dr. Tom's 2 WrestleMania matches. I want to know he had 2 matches at WrestleMania or almost at WrestleMania.
They were at WrestleMania.
Well, that's arguable. Here's the deal. I want to know who his partner was at his first WrestleMania match, who they wrestled, and then at his second WrestleMania match, who was his partner and who did they wrestle. It's that simple.
Do we want the results or no?
No, we're not going to do the results. We don't have 5 hours to do all results.
Why not?
You'll go over every darn part of the match.
You darn right I will.
You know, you are.
As well I should.
You're the guru of wrestling, you know.
Is that what I am?
That's what they told me. The
Yeah, I
101
thought you was
questions.
the guru.
Well, that's all right.
Oh, 101 question thing
All right.
again. Here
Well,
we
email
go.
us at bitethis@wwe.com if you think you know the answer. And the one that's correct, we'll
get
give you a
Kabuki.
book. All
Yeah.
right. Well, I understand on the line right now is somebody who I hold in the highest esteem. Truly my friend, the one and only Taz. Taz, it's the Fink. I'm here this week with Dr. Tom. What's going
Hello,
on?
Tom. Hello, Fink.
How are you, Taz?
Fink, let me start you off right away and tell you made an error already.
Okay, I'm game for corrections. Go ahead.
Yes, we are friends, but because we're Jet fans. But here's the error. You gotta always preface it before you say Taz. You know, this week's version of Tales from the Hook featuring Taz. That's the gimmick.
And I humbly apologize, and I'll tell you why. My nickname this week is Rusty because that's how I am. Okay.
No problem. I figured you'd let him know, Tom. You know, maybe.
Well, I should have,
Well,
but
tell us on this Friday afternoon what's going on the Hook this week. Is there a buzz about The Sopranos and Gandolfino agreeing to the deal, or what?
Well, we really can't talk about that on the internet. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know, I had some people stop by this morning. They brought me some, you know, some donuts and stuff like that. I'm trying to stay lean.
very
away,
nice.
Tom.
Hey, Taz, gotta ask you. I know you were at ringside for SmackDown, and you saw Mr. McMahon Shanghai, so to speak, the Hulkster. I mean, you were right there, up close and personal. What do you think about WrestleMania, Vince McMahon versus Hulk? Do you think it will be the Hulk's last match?
In my opinion, this is just my opinion, I think that it's the end of Hulkamania. And I think, like Vince said, you know, he created Hulkamania. Well, I think the fans and Hogan had something to do with that, too. But Mr. McMahon created Hulkamania, and he's going to kill it. And I think that right now, Mr. McMahon, the shape that he's in, the rage that burns in him, I think he's going to take out Hogan. I really do. I mean, Vince, he is when he attacked Hogan with that, you know, pen. I mean, that was a pretty vicious thing to do to someone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've known.
I remember, you know, Tom growing up in the Hook as a kid. I used to do it to my little brother all the time. I'd attack him with the pen and stick him in the eye a few hundred times.
You had to make a point, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you got.
Very nice.
There's a softball bingo right out of the park.
You got it's definitely a softball. I could never hit a hard ball.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I got people call me. I got 5 phones. People call me all the time. Very popular. Very, very popular person.
I'm sure.
You know, I asked Paul E why he had 2 phones. He says, in case I get fired.
Yeah, he's telling the truth.
Yeah, he is.
And Taz,
For once.
Taz, on the note of SmackDown last night, what were your thoughts on Stephanie McMahon coming out and seeming to add stipulation after stipulation to the Kurt Angle Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania?
The who? Oh, so Steph. Yeah. See, the problem is I'm in New York, so we didn't get a chance to see SmackDown.
Right.
But yeah, Stephanie came out. She had the stipulations. I mean, like I said last night on the air, when Kurt wanted Brock to come out there and apologize, it would have been better off with Brock. Because once I seen Stephanie, I'm figuring, oh boy, she's gonna like make life very difficult for our Olympic hero, and she sure did. I mean, Brock's all alone now. I'm sorry, Kurt. Kurt's all alone now. He's got to go into this match. It don't matter. He can lose that championship, you know, via disqualification, via count out.
All right,
It'll be a long night for Kurt.
Let me put you on the spot then, if I may, Taz, because I know you and Kurt Angle have had your battle, certainly the first time in Madison Square Garden, and certainly you've established a pretty fair rapport with Kurt.
We're good friends. We are.
By the same token, Brock Lesnar is still continuing to rise as quicker than anybody I've ever seen in this great organization.
No
Put
doubt.
you on the spot. Pick him.
Well, that's a tough one because, as you know, Howard, even once before Brock debuted in the WWE, he was driving in a car with Kurt Angle and myself for many, many, many months up and down the roads all over the country. So I got to know Brock very well, and I got to see Brock and Kurt interact. And at one point, they were pretty good friends, and that's no more, obviously. And they have so much in common. And I don't even want to say what a lot of people would say, where they're evenly matched. They're not evenly matched. When Brock has a lot of size on Kurt, number one, a lot of size. Brock's got a lot of strength on Kurt. But Kurt, you got to give it to Kurt in the speed department. And when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of it, I hate to say it, but I think Kurt, as far as straight up wrestling, come on, the guy's a gold medal winner. I mean, Brock's a national champion, but Kurt's, in my opinion, probably a better wrestler. But we're not talking about amateur rules here. This is going to be a fight. It's going to be a wrestling match, and I don't know. I'm leaning towards Brock.
Wow.
But Kurt, it's a tough one. And I'm not even giving you a straight answer because I can't. I'm leaning towards Brock on this one, but I don't know.
Kind of like a shade of gray for you,
Sure.
Taz, I understand.
Well,
Like a shade of orange, maybe
yeah.
a peach or a tangerine color.
Taz, I know you and Michael Cole are going to be doing the Third Degree from the World. I believe it's this Sunday.
Yes.
And you're going to be going all over the WrestleMania matchups and, of course, all the happenings at WrestleMania. There's a lot to talk about. Obviously, again, we have the World Championship with Booker T and Triple H. And a lot of people are saying it's time for Booker T to cross that line and be that breakout star that everybody wants him to be. Do you see that happening at WrestleMania?
Well, I mean, many have tried to, dethrone the game. I mean, Triple H is game for a reason. He's a strategist in that ring. I mean, he's phenomenal. I've wrestled Triple H. I've wrestled Booker. I think if anyone can go in there and just on pure athleticism beat Triple H, it'd have to be Booker T. But I don't know. I think the game's going to keep the championship. I don't know. I think it's Booker's time, but I don't know. I think he's going to have a tough time handling Triple H. Triple H is going to have something up his sleeve. You never know who's roaming around behind watching Triple H's back either.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, when you're the top dog, like a Kurt Angle on SmackDown or a Triple H on Raw, you got people, kissing your ass. I mean, that's the bottom line. I'm being honest.
Well, give us a little bit of an insight onto this show this coming Sunday on TNN.
Third Degree?
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what. This is going to be a show to see because this isn't your typical, just programming that with great production and WWE superstars on it. This is going to be hard-hitting questions. This is going to be, Michael Cole and I had to put some questions together, and we're hoping we don't get fired once we ask them, to be honest. I mean, we're going to be asking some pretty heavy questions to the guest. I mean, you're going to have people like Stone Cold Steve Austin there and Triple H and Hogan and
Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, Mr. McMahon. You got some combustible elements there, and there is some, straight up questions to ask some of these men that could cut to the bone, and we're going to ask them. And I know all of these men, and I don't think any of them is going to shy away from an answer. So, and we're live, man. This is straight up live, and anything can happen in the WWE, but anything can happen when you're live.
Yeah.
So I think it's a show that people might want to check out this Sunday night. And on TNN, and it's going to be something to see. I'm so happy that Michael Cole and myself again a chance to host it, which is cool. So right before WrestleMania, this is the big one here. This is we're gonna ask some pretty heavy questions. We're not going to beat around the bush.
And just fast forwarding a week, how do you feel about calling WrestleMania for the matches that are SmackDown related?
I'm fired up.
I bet you
really
are.
Howard. I'm pumped up. I'm telling you. Especially just being at Safeco Field right there where the Seattle Mariners play, over 50,000 people.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, I feel like a kid, man. I've actually had wrestling matches, 2 matches in 2 WrestleManias. And last year I didn't wrestle, but I did Sunday Night Heat at the Toronto Sky Dome. It's always an awesome. I mean, Howard, you've been there from day one, and Tom, how many WrestleManias have you been at?
Well, I've been at, I don't know how, since WrestleMania 10, every one since then, but I've only been actually in 2, or as Howard says, I've been looking
on the outside
looking in. Yeah.
Right. Well, we all at one point. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
Still, I mean, it's like you, Tom. I've wrestled in 2.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing experience. You know what I mean? It's just.
There's nothing like it.
There really isn't. I mean, you can't explain it. I mean, it sounds like we're shilling and we're just putting the product over.
Not at all.
But it's a straight shoot. I mean, it's an amazing event.
I've been at every one, and I've been in the ring for every one, and this one's going to be just like the first one. It's nerves, it's juiced energy, it's just, passion. There are so many adjectives we could describe what WrestleMania is all about. And I tell the Bite This audience, you can watch it on pay-per-view, and that's marvelous because it is a spectacle to be seen. If you ever have a chance to experience a WrestleMania live, you will never forget it. I can
Nothing
assure
like
you
it.
of that.
And for me, to answer your question, Howard, to sit ringside and announce at WrestleMania in front of all these people calling a Hulk Hogan Vince McMahon match?
Yes.
Oh, my God. A kid growing up in New York, seeing in the Hulkamania era, in its prime, and Vince McMahon interviewing him and with the crazy powder blue suits and the pink suits and the canary yellow suits and, all the craziness and from the days of Lou Albano and Frederick Blassie and everybody was in their prime back then. I'm marking out for this. I'm serious.
It's going to be terrific. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. That's what WrestleMania is all about, having a good time, getting into it, and I can't think of a better place to be than in Seattle. Taz, we want to thank you very much. We're going to wrap it up.
All right.
And I will see you next week in Seattle.
All right. I'll see you next week, Tom Fink. I'll see you
In San Jose.
You go to WrestleMania, Fink?
Do you want me to be there?
I'm only joking. You're
All
like
right.
Stone.
Hey, Taz, did you like the signing of Conway?
Yeah, we'll talk about it when I see it on TV. But yeah, not exactly doing backflips, but I'm glad with Lavernius calls. We did the right thing. There's no reason to spend that kind of money on a guy.
No question about
Guy
it.
had one good season. Want to spend all that money? I'll go in there and play receiver.
Hey, Taz, I haven't said this in a long time, and we'll let you on this. What can we expect next week in Tales from the Hook?
Probably absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Very
you
good.
later.
Have a good one.
See you later.
We'll see you.
Taz, Tales from the Hook. There's no question about it.
Very good.
We're still looking for a winner here, are we not, Matthew? For
well,
the
check after the show. People are going to email us.
Oh, okay.
Certainly.
We're not going to announce a winner on the
We'll
on
do
the
it
program.
next week.
We'll do it next week. We're going to keep
very
everybody
nice.
in suspense.
Sure.
So I'll give the answer at the end of the show, regardless. Okay? Is that fine? Because it'll be all over by then.
I'll tell you what. You guys talk to Hurricane, and I'll try to find a winner.
All
There
right.
you go.
We'll get him.
Why don't you repeat the question though? So
I have to do that all over again?
Sure you do.
All
Go ahead,
here
real
we go.
quick.
You, my friend,
Yes.
were on the outside looking in.
I was at the show.
You were at the show. You were out the outside looking in at 2 WrestleManias.
Yes.
And I want to know from our fans who was his partner at both WrestleManias that he was on the outside looking in, and who did they wrestle? And if you know the answer, it's bite this at WWE.com, and we'll pull a winning answer, and they will get the Hardy Boys book for sure.
nice.
By the way, just to take everybody back into the time tunnel, we heard this just today of the passing of truly one of the legends in our industry, Sailor R. Thomas. And I know a lot of you current fans probably don't remember Sailor R. Thomas, but he was an individual from Madison, Wisconsin, who was a legitimate merchant marine, if I'm not mistaken. And he had muscles upon muscles. He was a natural phenomenon and a strong son of a gun you'd never meet. And I remember Sailor R. Thomas had his fling in the WWF back in the 60s and 70s. You remember Sailor R. Thomas?
Yes, I do.
You know?
I certainly do. When I was growing up, he was in all the wrestling magazines, and he had a distinct look back then, and a tremendous athlete, tremendous wrestler.
Well, he passed away yesterday in Madison, Wisconsin, and we offer our condolences to the Thomas family for sure.
Very good.
I understand right now we are. Can you look up in the sky? Do you see it?
No, he's not in the sky. He's on the phone.
All right,
man.
he's on the phone. All right. Standing by right now, let's welcome the one and only Hurricane to Bite This. Hurricane, welcome to Bite This. You got Fink, you got the doctor. What's happening?
How you guys doing?
We're doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. Just rounded up some criminals here in my hometown, and it's been an eventful day.
Wait a minute. What was that hometown in South Carolina? North Carolina.
North Carolina.
There's a lot of criminals around there, man.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Thank goodness.
Oh, man. Hurricane, I'll tell you what. You fly like nobody else. Your star continues to rise. And, boy, has it ever risen since you have absolutely run into one individual by the name of The Rock. You have to be still on cloud 9, considering how things have developed between you and The Rock as of late.
Definitely. It's definitely the high point in my career so far. Rocky's a tremendous talent and just so entertaining in by himself. The fact that we had such good chemistry working together backstage, and it turned out as well as it did, I take my hat off to him for everything that happened.
It's tremendous, isn't it, Dr.
Well, yeah, it looks like you're having a good time. It looks like you're really getting into the character even more so. And The Rock it seems to be enjoying himself as well. But it also has to feel good to know that you can actually put a W next to your name in that match you had with The Rock. And there's not a whole lot of guys in WWE that can say that.
Yeah, especially now considering how truly big of a superstar he is in and out of the world of wrestling. So,
Yeah.
What about yourself? Let's talk a little bit about Shane Helms, the Hurricane. Let's talk a little about the characterization. You've had this characterization for a little bit since you've come to WWE. Has your obviously everybody sets their sights on becoming what they are, and how they get there is another story. Are you happy thus far with what you've attained here in WWE? I know you were part of the mix when WCW got enveloped into WWE. Are you happy thus far with what you've gotten? And give us your thoughts on where you want to go beyond where we are today.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm definitely happy. I don't know if I could be happier. When we first came over, when we made the transition from WCW to WWE, it was just a matter of being happy that I was one of the guys that got picked. And actually, me and Booker T talk about this all the time. Of all the guys that came, me and him were the only two that really stayed around, it seemed. We had so many guys that came and then they were gone. And, it just, out of that whole roster, it was just amazing, especially considering I'm a completely different person than I was or character, I should say. Actually, a person too, but from when I was in WCW, it's just went uphill for me, I mean, it's been all pluses.
It looks though like you're very comfortable with what you're doing now. Obviously, the Hurricane, and what's up with that? And as well, let me ask you this: you have noticed a lot of injuries here in World Wrestling Entertainment as of late, and one of the controversial moves in WWE was the Vertebreaker. Is that no longer part of your repertoire?
Yeah, that's no more. With all the neck injuries and stuff, it wasn't I don't think it's a dangerous move. I think I have the ability to pull it off. It's not an easy move by any means. I mean, it's not a headlock, but I don't think it's any worse than a German suplex. I think you land in a similar position when you take a German, and the German's okay.
Right.
But the fact is that on the Raw roster, there's not a lot of guys that I can give it to anyway.
Right.
I actually have only gave it to Stevie Richards a couple of times and a couple other guys. But when I was on SmackDown working with the cruiserweights, I think it could have been a different story. There's the guys I can pick up and actually really control their weight without any problem. But on the Raw roster, everybody's so big. Not a lot of guys I can do it to anyway. So not really that big of a deal to me.
I'll tell you one thing about Hurricane that I admire very much, and I'm on the road with the Raw crew. I do the ring announcing at the Raw live events, and it's really electric, especially when you're in the opening match, because I've always maintained, Hurricane, that the opening match definitely sets the pace into the evening. And you've been in a few opening matches, and when your music hits after we start the event, the people actually are absolutely ecstatic. They really go nuts for you. And he gives it back to the people. He's a people person. One of the things that I absolutely respect that you do is he wears one of his Hurricane masks into the ring.
Certainly.
And before the match starts, he will seek around the area, and he's out looking for criminals sometimes, but he's looking for fans, and he makes some young fan happy each and every night. And I tip my hat to you. That's a wonderful trait to have there.
Yeah, that was very cool. I actually used to see down south the Rock and Roll Express used to do that. Mm-hmm. They would always throw one of their bandanas out, each one of them, and we as kids, I would try to kill myself to want to go get that bandana, but I never caught one. When Ronnie Garvin did it a lot with his towel, and of course in the WWF, Bret Hart was famous for taking off his glasses. So just kind of continuing in that tradition, and and I always aim for kids, because it ain't like they have a job or they might not be able to go buy it themselves. So I'm always trying to find a little kid to look for it. Howard, you've helped me out before.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Looking for criminals or looking for little kid criminals?
Well, if he points out a criminal, I'll get him too. But I went there and referee Charles Robinson does it too. He said, "There's a cute little kid over here."
Right.
Yeah, Charles was one of the Hurricane's deputies.
Yeah,
I
very
believe.
good. Hey, let me ask you this: do you miss 3 count at all?
I do, man. We had I get 3 count chants all the time. I mean, there was actually a 3 count sign on Monday Night Raw this past Monday.
Very good.
Are you happy for Shannon? Are you happy for Shannon right now? What he's doing at SmackDown with Matt?
Yeah, definitely. And when me and Shannon were teaming so much on SmackDown, we would get 3 count chants every night, and every now and then we'd have to break into a little dance just to amuse ourselves. But it was, as crazy as that gimmick was, it was still talked about. It was one of the most talked about gimmicks then, and people still bring it up. So And, by that rationale, it's pretty successful.
We've got time for one more question.
First prediction on
We want to give you an idea. Let me ask you this. You've had your fling with The Rock, okay? We're talking about WrestleMania now, 1 week from this Sunday. Now I'm going to ask you to make a prediction, okay? You know what The Rock has. You've got a W over him thanks to Stone Cold Steve Austin and your abilities as well. Give me a prediction. The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin of WrestleMania, and why?
Man, that's a tough call right there. I don't know if there's I'm actually gonna.
What's up with that?
I'm gonna ride the fence on this one, man. I don't know if I can call
Fence rider.
No.
You're from North Carolina, boy. You got to choose one or the other.
That's right. And then,
man, I'm all disappointed because my NC State Wolfpack got beat yesterday. So I've been down in the.
What's that got to do with WrestleMania? Who do you like to win the match?
Who do I like?
You want to straddle? You want to straddle the fence?
I think since. Man, I don't know.
You know what, man?
Forget about it.
The game 386 wants this question answered. Does The Rock
going to win?
No, does The Rock really have a tiny penis?
He has to look for himself.
Okay.
All right. Hurricane, we really thank you very much for spending a few minutes of your very busy day with us here on Bite This. And certainly continued success to you here in WWE with the Raw group. And I just have a funny feeling you're going to see Hurricane flying a lot higher and a lot more faster in weeks to come.
Just don't fly into the Space Needle, okay?
I'll try not to. You guys are good.
Thank
All right,
you.
Take care. Hurricane.
Bye.
Yes.
Terrific.
Very
Everything
nice.
is great.
Yeah.
Well, I think we have to wrap this up.
Yes,
don't
we do have to wrap this up, Howard. But again, I just want to say best wishes to Kevin Kelly in whatever he does,
Absolutely.
and good to have you back here. Of course, I don't know how we're going to do it next week because next week is the Friday before
WrestleMania. And we're all going to be in Seattle, but we'll come up with something. And I hope to be back here in a couple of weeks to make things go. Don't forget, of course, this coming Sunday it is going to be the Third Degree on TNN, hosted by Tazza Michael Cole, featuring Triple H, featuring Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mr. McMahon, and the one and only Hulk Hogan.
Are you going to be on Third Degree?
No, I'm not going to be on the Third Degree. I'm going to be on my way to California, but I certainly am going to watch that. I want to give a shout at this time to one of my pals out there, the legendary SGD, and that's all I'll say about that. And you know who SGD is?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you sometime.
All right, then.
Okay. Very good. Everything is good. We thank you for your calls this week. We promise you an answer to the question of the winner. Let's give them the answer real quickly, may we? All right. You were on the outside looking in.
I was on the
You were
card.
on the
I was
outside
there.
looking in.
Yeah.
You were at WrestleMania 10
Yes.
in New York City.
Madison
Your
Square
partner
Garden.
was Jimmy Del Rey.
Gigolo.
And you guys wrestled the Bushwhackers.
The Bushcockers.
Why I said the outside looking in? It wasn't on the WrestleMania card.
No.
It was on the free-for-all, which was the
Bastards.
match before the WrestleMania event.
Yeah.
Then, fast forward to 1996, a more memorable day for the good doctor.
Anaheim, California.
Skip, zip, trip, flip, whatever it was called,
Yeah.
you guys worked with Henry and Phineas, the Godwins. And
Yes.
what did you guys come out of that match with?
The WWE Tag Team Championship. So how can you say it wasn't won at a WrestleMania?
You were on the outside.
But we were
looking
on the
in.
clips of
You
showing
were
what
on
was
the
happening.
cusp of the big event.
Yeah. well,
But you were there,
Yeah,
and people saw it. And you
sure.
know, that was our trivia question this week. The answer was Jimmy Del Rey, the Bushwhackers, and
Skip.
Skip,
I was there.
and
Sonny.
Sonny,
Sure, you got to bring her
and
up.
the Godwins.
Yeah.
So we'll find out who wins the Great Hardy Boy book next week. Here
Big
it is
old Harvey
again.
Boy books right here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
for now, we're going to have to say adios, sayonara, shalom, whatever the hell it is.
I ain't saying shalom, Howard.
We want to say God bless to our troops overseas.
Yes.
Fighting the good fight and
Just
making
bring
things
it.
happen. Right, Dr.
You
Tom? You all for
darn
that,
right.
I hope?
I am all for that.
All right. Well, we'll
Yeah,
see
and
you
the
next-
guy who wrote me the letter about the Dixie Chicks, they still suck, by the way. Thank you.
All right. With that note, this is the Fink. Dr. Tom, glad to be back.
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you all hopefully next week on, I can't even talk.
Bite
Tongue tied.
This.
See you next week on Bite This. Take care, everybody.